everybody. I'm excited for this session. We're going to be talking with Aasif from AfterShip. Aasif, thanks so much for joining, and how are you?
I am doing well. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah. I think this will be a fun talk track. You've got some great experience, and I think it'll be good for the audience to hear. Before we dive into some of the topics at hand, maybe just tell us a little about yourself and some of the cool things you guys are doing over there.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited for this conversation in particular because I've spent the last 8 years in the support space. And actually, now that I think about it, even the four prior to that. So a decade of support experience.
Yeah, we
Uh,
need all of that today. Bring it all out. Come on.
I've seen so many things over the last 8 years, from basics of help desk to kind of where AI is taking things, and all the automation side. So excited to share a lot of what I've learned over the last 8 years, and
Cool.
not just support experience, but more focused as e-commerce support.
Yeah.
So excited to share some of the features and cool things we're working on, and uh, talk to how that can impact and support your support team.
Yeah, love it. All right, well let's dive in. Have a litany of questions for you, so I want to be running them through rapid fire here. But to start at the top,
Perfect.
the basics. Why is the post purchase experience such an untapped opportunity for most brands out there?
Yeah, that's a good question, one that comes up quite often. So for a long time, everybody has focused on the pre-purchase journey, and this is going to be your ads, your email campaigns,
For sure.
influencer deals, whatever pops up every couple of years, you name it. Everything just to get the sale. But once the transaction is done, it's crickets, and then comes the support team, which are usually the unsung heroes. So here's the thing: like, today's shoppers expect more than just a receipt. They want updates, there's engagement, and honestly, they just want a little bit of love from the brand, or in this case, the support teams that are helping them. And that's where the post-purchase experience comes in. And it's a golden opportunity to keep that conversation going, build loyalty, create those "I love this brand" moments that we're all seeking. And plus, a fun fact from my 8 years in the sports space: retaining customers is 5 times cheaper than acquiring a new one. So
Yes. Look, I still think that whole. It might even be more than that now. It might even be more than.
yeah, you're right. It's probably becoming more expensive to, I mean, I know it's becoming more expensive to acquire new customers. So when you invest in post purchase, you're not just making your customers happy, but you're also making smart business moves. So I think
Yeah,
that's really important.
I love it. I love it. Okay, yeah. Um, if you had to choose one post-purchase feature that would make the biggest impact on a customer, where would you go?
There's two that come to mind, but I'll go with the one that most people don't think of very often first, which is AI powered EDD. And EDD is
Oh,
something I don't hear very often in
right.
e-commerce as much as you probably should. So EDD is estimated delivery date. It's essentially a machine learning driven feature that predicts highly accurate delivery dates based on real time historical shipping data. So rather than relying solely on carrier data, which I think we've all had our experiences with them, can be
Yeah.
vague, a little bit inaccurate. Our model uses AI and analyzes millions of shipments across thousands of carriers to deliver granular, reliable predictions that are going to include um, lots of various different factors that play into it. So, like weather, for example, can have an impact on those. And the reason I mention this is something that's important is expectation is really important with expectation setting is something that's important with your customers. So
Yeah.
pre-purchase, when you're on Amazon, you can see, like, if you order today or order in the next 12 hours, you'll have it by tomorrow. So you can
Yes.
have this on the pre-purchase side, but it's equally as important on the post-purchase side when somebody does place an order. So
Yeah.
everybody says, "Where's my order? Where's my order? Where's my order?" Nobody actually cares where their order is. They don't care if it's in Albuquerque, New Mexico, or if it's somewhere on an airplane. They care, when am I going to get it? And I think
Yeah.
that's the value of EDD, is aligning that expectation on when you're going to get it.
Oh, I like that reframe actually, because you're right. We talk about Wismo, and it's like they don't really care that it's in Albuquerque. What they want to know is like how long will it take to get from Albuquerque to my freaking home? So that's
Exactly.
good. That's a good
If a
call.
couple of your support agents actually respond with the physical location of where the package is, they're probably going to get some angry customers responding back with, "I don't care where it is. When am I going to get it?"
That's great. I agree. That's a really funny visual. It's in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Now what?
help you. No, I like that. That makes a ton of sense. But that is a cool feat, because you're right, the carrier concept, that can be a little I see at times. So yeah, using some data and some real-time insights, potentially automation, AI, et cetera, is that would be that does take that kind of Wismo thing to another level. I think that's a great thing for brands to start considering as they think about this post-purchase experience. I like it. Okay. Okay, couple others. I got a litany here. How are brands getting creative around communicating shipment updates with their current customers post-purchase?
So I'll give you an example. It's not commonly used, but I think it will become more commonly used over the next couple of years,
Okay.
is our Apple Wallet integration. And
Hmm.
most people think of an Apple Wallet as somewhere where they can put their boarding pass or an ID card or something like
That's
that.
that's that's all I know it for. Yeah, but okay, keep going.
So when you open it in the top left corner, there's actually a package that's there. And if you click on that, you can actually see all of your different orders. And so you can add your orders to your Apple Wallet. So what AfterShip's Apple Wallet integration does is it enables customers to easily save and track their shipments directly from their iPhone's Apple Wallet without needing to download an app or log in. So a lot of people are investing in
Yeah.
creating mobile apps so they can send push notifications. But when you're using Apple's wallet feature, those notifications are built in because it's coming from Apple.
Oh,
So once
that's a really interesting because yeah, I hate downloading every app for every because I'm not shame on me. I don't order, millions and millions of items. My my wife does actually, but so she's probably better. But yeah, I hate downloading those apps and tracking that type of stuff. You're right, but I can see the trade-off, right? I love for the consumer that Apple concept. I might have to look at that myself, but a little bit of a trade-off because it gets them out of the app, right? That probably the push notification,
exactly.
something like that.
So definitely a trade-off there. But the other value of it is it creates this seamless and convenience experience where you have one
Yes.
tap access to tracking. So like you mentioned, don't need to download that app. It helps to build trust. I think when you start to see your brand associated with the Apple Wallet, it builds that element of trust. It's personalized and customized so you can maintain your brand presence within the Apple Wallet, kind of reinforcing, creating that recognition throughout the journey. And
Hmm.
then it gives that like digital first modern kind of feel. And I think that's something that a lot of your savvy buyers will be looking for, especially if they, are coming back making a lot of repeat purchases. They can just quickly add it there and continue to get their updates.
Cool. That's really cool. Yeah, look, I think we've got to keep finding ways, obviously, to make things easier. And that's a real fun kind of tactical way to do that for companies as you think about making that post-purchase experience a little bit easier. Um, okay, another one that's actually come up a lot, and I'm interested in your take on this, having been in the space for a while. A lot of people talking about cost center, profit center. CX is just cost center, it's just a cost center. People are doing asked to do more with less. But I think the brands who are able to elevate that and transform or get into this profit center conversation are making a bigger dent in their world and in the consumer's world as well. How does AfterShip impact or enable that shift?
Yeah. So I'm a big believer that customer support should be a profit center. And when I spent the last 8 years in the e-commerce space, we kind of see these as like little love notes from your customers who really care. And they're reaching out because they're excited or they're curious, they bought something that they want. And so when it comes to shipment issues, that excitement can fade really fast. And
Mm.
that's where AfterShip steps in. So instead of leaving customers wondering, where is my order? Or kind of like we discussed, when is my order going to arrive? We enable brands to trigger beautiful branded tracking pages, real time updates that keep them in the loop and
Oh, yeah.
off your support team's back.
Yeah.
And it kind of it's like a 4 step process in order to kind of transform your support team into a profit center. And number one is optimize your pre-purchase and post-purchase flows in your
Mm.
experience to reduce the number of questions going to your support team.
Yeah.
More often than not, people don't want to reach out to support. They're not trying to just have a conversation because they're bored. Number two, automate the low hanging fruit. So those Wismo questions, and then triaging tickets, routing them based on skills, and then invest in more personalized conversations on the ones that truly matter. So
Yeah.
there's going to be no shortage of issues as you're building your brand, and so making sure that you're having meaningful conversations and providing really high quality of replies to increase your CSAT is where you kind of turn those people who are maybe having a poor experience into repeat customers. You create long term customers.
Yeah, I like it. I think that is a great way to start thinking that mindset shift on cost center to profit center. Um, you're around the business a lot. A lot of people running, I think, probably fairly creative post-purchase campaigns to, using some of your technology. I'm curious if any examples come to mind that some of these brands might be able to take and make their own in some form or fashion.
Yeah, good question. I'm still relatively new, so learning and seeing more of them. But one of my favorites that I've seen so far is a company called Baked by Melissa. They're the
Uh-huh.
cupcake legends out of New York.
Yeah, hey,
So
yeah, I've heard of them. I heard of them. I haven't tried them yet.
not only are their cupcakes insanely good, but their post-purchase experience is just as sweet. So forgive the pun there. They send really playful, totally on brand emails and SMS updates every step of the way, from your orders on the move to your cupcakes have landed. And it's the kind of communication that makes you like smirk and smile a little bit, because like, oh, that's really, on brand. And spoiler alert, like it works really well. And they've seen amazing results and some serious growth. And again, going back to that expectation setting, they're constantly letting them know where their cupcakes are.
I
So
love
that's
it.
that's one example that I've seen.
No, look, I think that's great. I think those are that's a small but huge way to, I think, and build the relationship that I think many companies want. That's a pretty fun example. Maybe time for one more question. I'm curious, personalization, something you've mentioned, and a lot of people are focusing on pre-purchase. Um, is there other examples of what great personalization looks like after someone buys that you've got in your wallet there?
Yeah. So, well, personalization, most people think of it as everything pre-purchase and up to the shopping cart. And I
Correct.
actually think the magic starts after the checkout, and that's where we found that segmentation is the secret sauce. So when brands tailor tracking updates, emails, and notifications based on what customers ordered or even their profile info, it creates the this brand gets me moment. And that's really powerful. So imagine getting updates that mention your exact name, which is probably table stakes now, I hope, for most brands, or including items or offers tied to your last purchase. It's like the brand is speaking to you directly. And I think that's what keeps
Yeah.
customers coming back and building a stronger connection with the brand.
Yeah, look, I think that's super helpful. We hit a bunch of points today as we wrap. I'm just curious, maybe it's a summary of some of your points, or a lot of people feeling stressed, overwhelmed with all that's going on in the CX space. Is there something that comes to mind as a leave behind, or a piece of advice you'd give to maybe just CX leaders as we wrap today?
Yeah, I would say it's not as big of a lift as people think it is to go and implement these flows. So set up your core shipment notifications with AfterShip. It's plug and play. We integrate with Shopify, Salesforce, BigCommerce, a bunch of the others, um, and we've got over 100 triggers. But if you really want to move quick, you can start with what we call the standard seven. So
Yeah.
that's just going to be providing the info received, in transit, out for delivery, delivered, exceptions, which are also delays,
Mhm.
failed attempts, and available for pickup. So those standard seven are out of the box and can really help to reduce the number of Wismo
Cool.
tickets that are going to support team, keep your customers informed, keep your brand more polished, professional feel, and hey, you'll probably have a boost in repeat purchases while you're at it. So
I love it.
I would
I
say
love
start with
it.
standard seven.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking the time today. It's a fun talk track. And for the audience, enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks, Gabe. Appreciate you having me on.